So we just wait for another minute and then we'll start off. Okay. So hi everyone and welcome to today's discussion. And what we're going to talk about today are the top DeFi projects. And I'd like to explain what is the kind of statistics and metrics that we need to look at when we are talking about DeFi projects. So let me quickly share my screen. Okay. Now let me know if you can see my screen. You should be able to see the DeFi Llama website. Awesome. So this is the most important website that we need to bear in mind. So I'm putting the URL. So if you guys want, you can also open that out on the side. So DeFi Llama is a very nice informational portal where we get almost every information that we need about DeFi projects. So the first thing that we see the moment we reach the site, we're going to see a list of the projects arranged by way of the TVL. So TVL, as you know, is the total value locked. And usually when we talk about DeFi projects, that becomes the most important metric, that how much is the total value of assets which are locked in that platform. Now, when we say locked, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a long-term lock. It's just as of right now, those are the assets there. So when we see here, right on top, you see MakerDAO. So for quite some time now, that has been the #1 platform. It's a CDP or a collateralized debt position protocol. We've discussed the meanings of all of these earlier. Second, you can see is Lido. And if you've heard of the concept of staked Ethereum, then you probably know what Lido is all about. Are you aware of what staked Ethereum is? A quick yes, no. Otherwise, I'll explain it a little more. Okay, awesome. Okay, fine. Then let me just tell you a little bit. So, you know, Ethereum is moving to proof of stake, which means people can then stake it and earn money. As of today, it's being mined. Now, for more than a year, people have actually locked their Ethereum into, maybe you could say, the beacon chain, although that's not the real exact thing, but they've locked in 32 ETH. So as a validator of the new Ethereum, you will need at least 32 ETH locked. So a lot of people have already locked it in even before Ethereum has become proof of stake. So those people are issued staked Ethereum in return for the Ethereum that they've locked. And Lido happens to be the biggest platform to do something like that. And the third is Aave. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. So Aave has got actually multiple versions. So we can see all of them listed here. And then we've got Curve and Uniswap. So these are the top 5. And here we can see the categories. So this is CDP, this is liquid staking, and then we have lending, DEXs. So all of that is mentioned here. Then comes the prices. Then comes the TVL for each of them. And finally is the MCAP by TVL. That means market cap divided by TVL. So that also gives us a good indication about whether a particular crypto is overpriced or underpriced. So if you're familiar with the stock markets, we have a concept there called P by E ratio, which is price to earning ratio. And that gives us an indication of whether a particular stock is overpriced or overvalued, undervalued, or it's correct, depending upon other stocks or other stocks in the same category. Similarly, in the DeFi world, we use MCAP by TVL. And now what I want you to do is, I want you to, so for example, if you just click into the first one, so we've gone into MakerDAO. So here it shows us how the prices have been moving. If we want to see the MCAP also, then we click on this. So now it shows us that, okay, this is how the prices and the market cap have been moving over a particular period of time. This is in terms of USD and this is in terms of ETH. So if you value that, so you'll be wondering why we use ETH. So in the regular crypto world, you may notice many times we give prices in Bitcoin. So all crypto prices are also quoted in Bitcoin, but because this is DeFi, so we quote prices in Ethereum because Ethereum is the big boss of DeFi. Is it all clear till now? Could you just quickly give me a yes if it's all clear? Yeah, awesome. So then we can see that, okay, this is the TVL as of right now. If you want, we can download the CSV, which contains the data of the past also. Then it gives you a very brief information about that particular project. So this is what it says here. And then it has links to the website and the Twitter of that particular project. Then if you want to see the token on CoinGecko, it has a link directly here. And then there are a bunch of charts, which honestly I won't be talking about. I'm going to now take you to a site called Token Terminal. Let me just shift my screen. Give me a second. Okay. So now we are going to see, now I hope you can see Token Terminal on your screen. Just give me a quick yes. Awesome. So now Token Terminal, when we go there, now we will enter again Maker for MakerDAO data. So why I prefer, or why most of us prefer Token Terminal, is because it does a lot of on-chain analytics and gives us a lot of very good statistics. So now when we look at it here, it is going to tell us not just the standard things, which is like market cap, that's everywhere, but it's going to talk to us about the revenue. Now that is something which is very, very important, and most sites do not give you this kind of information. So we want to know what is the revenue being generated by this platform. So here you see there is protocol revenue, and then there is, then we have total revenue, and we have borrowing volume, and these are the kind of metrics that are very, very critical. Let me just, I hope it's visible to you guys. It's a little grayed out this area. So what I'm doing is I'm also putting the URL. So if you guys are having a tough time reading it from the screen, I put the URL, you can open it up. So when we look at it here, it is going to show us, for example, the total revenue. That means the total interest, trading and liquidation fees in the past 30 days on this platform. So that's about $1.42 million. Then we see the annualized total revenue. So the first one was total revenue for the last 30 days. Now what we are doing is, based on this 30 days, we try to calculate it for the full year. How much does that translate into? That if it is 1.42 for 1 month, then for 1 year it is so much, so multiplied by 12. Then we have the P by S ratio, which is the price to sales ratio. So how do we calculate it? You can see it on my screen. You can divide the fully diluted circulating market cap with the annualized revenue. So in that article which I shared with you, that is 51 metrics, these were all explained in detail. So you may recall that. Otherwise, if you just hover your mouse over it, it'll give you a pop-up and explain it to you. Then it shows us protocol revenue, that's here. So that's the revenue being generated by the protocol, and then we can have the same thing on an annualized basis. And then we have the P by E ratio, which is the price to earning ratio. Now this is calculated by dividing the fully diluted market cap with the annualized protocol revenue. So P by E ratio, you may have noticed, is there in the stock markets also. For every share we get the P by E ratio, which is price to earnings. But the difference there is, there we can calculate the costs and remove that cost and only see the profits. Those are considered under the earning. But in crypto projects, we can't see costs. There's no real cost of running the project which is available to us. And that is the reason we have to take only the total revenue. We can't really deduct expenses. If revenue and protocol revenue are the same thing, yes, Abhishek, that can happen. So in many projects, you will realize they don't necessarily have both kinds of revenue. So in that case, then total and one of the two will be identical. So either protocol or the the other one, they could be the same. That happens, but in this case it won't happen. In MakerDAO, I think they've got both separately, if I'm not mistaken. So like this, what we can do is, and then we can go and map all this on a graph here. So here we can choose what are the fields that we want to map. So we can see fully diluted market cap, we can see price, circulated market cap. By the way, do you guys know the difference between circulating market cap and fully diluted market cap? Can someone tell me what it means? Anyone? Okay, so when we say circulating, we see the number of coins which are there in the market right now. But what we mean by fully diluted is If all the tokens were in circulation, then what would be the market cap? So for example, in case of Bitcoin, we know the total is 21 million, but as of today, it may be 18 or 19 million. So circulating is that 18 odd million, and 21 million becomes fully diluted. That means if all of them come in, yes, Ritesh, you are right on that. So that would be by the max supply. So now we can choose, like suppose we want to see, let's say we say circulating market cap, and then we want to see P by S. Sorry. So circulating market cap and P by. So we can select any two, and then it will immediately mark the graph for you. So it makes it very easy that at a glance you can come to know about that one. Then going below, you just have more and more information. Yeah, this is fairly simple, so I won't go deeper into it. This is another interesting feature. They have something called the competitive landscape. So here we can compare between tokens which are similar in nature. So if you look here, it knows that for MakerDAO, these are the ones which are similar. So Aave is also here. Abracadabra is here. BenQ is here. Compound is here. And this one. So first, let me remove it. Let me remove this also. And now if we feel these are the three most important, we can straight away compare them. So this gives us an idea. And what do we want to compare? So all this information. So let's say we want to see price. So here what we are able to do now is we are able to see the price of the three cryptos that we've selected, and now we can compare, how the movements have been. So for MakerDAO, Aave and Compound, we can see it. Suppose we want to see something else. So instead of price, we decide to see TVL. So here now it shows us how the TVL of those projects has been moving. So this is, I think, one of the best features that I like, where at a glance I can compare multiple cryptos in the same category, and I can see various metrics of them. Is that clear? Any questions? I hope I'm not going too fast. A quick yes, no, clear would help me. Awesome. Okay. So then if we go below, then it's just got data tables. So a lot of information about all the different cryptos that it tracks. So as I've explained to you, let me go back to the main screen. Give me a second. Okay. So 1 second. I hope you can see DeFi Llama again. Awesome. So in DeFi Llama, whatever cryptos that we find interesting, because DeFi Llama is only going to talk about the decentralized finance world. So we see that, and then we go to Token Terminal and look for more detailed information about those. So as you know, Uniswap is a very popular DEX. So again, we can go to Token Terminal and see the full information about that. Then if you look on the left-hand side, another very interesting feature is chains. So now this is going to talk about all the different DeFi related blockchains. So here again, you can see Ethereum is obviously the first one. And we can see that as of right now, there are about 553 protocols running on Ethereum. Okay. So here we can see how many protocols are running, and then we can see the TVL here. Now, you remember last time I spoke to you about Tron, and I told you that Tron, although it is the number 2 here in terms of TPL, it has only 10 protocols running on it. And when we go deeper into Tron and we try to see, okay, which are these? Let me take you there. And that seems to be, yeah. Okay. Are you able to now see something called just lend written? Just give me a quick yes. Okay. So now when we go deeper into Tron, and now we can see that, okay, this just lend, Sun and just stables, all three are run by the same team, which runs Tron. Now, the first one is 3.5 billion, then 1.19 and 1.1. So maximum TVL of Tron is of these three projects, because after that it's going into tiny numbers like 14 million. So if we remove the top three, which are run by the same team, you will realize Tron TVL is virtually zero. It's extremely low. In fact, you look at all these are like $280,000. It's not even 1 million. You look at OneSwap and it is only $6,700. So this gives you a very good indication that Tron as a blockchain for DeFi completely relies only upon these three, again, which are their internal projects, which is the reason I'm not in favor of Tron. And I believe I'm very bearish on it, right? Any questions? This shows L2 solutions also separately. Polygon runs on ET. Okay, so let's look for Polygon. So when we look for Polygon, yeah, here. So now we can see that, okay, on Polygon, what are the different DeFi projects running? So here we can see the number one is Aave, which has got about 387 million. And you can see the first three are, okay, the first four are above 100 million, and then it starts to fall. And if you want to see more about it, so if we go back to chains, okay, when we go back to chains and look, so here we can see Polygon is at number 5, and it's got about 304 protocols running on it. So the more the number of protocols which are kind of equal in nature, the better it is. In Tron, it's 10, but the top 3 have everything. In Ethereum, it's 553 and very nicely diversified. So you have a lot of projects which have good TVL on it. And then you see Solana comes here at number 6. So in fact, if you want to know how a particular project is doing, like Cardano, a lot of people are very bullish on Cardano. And sometimes people get angry that why don't I talk more about it? But when you look at Cardano, it's number 29. And its TVL is only $91 million, which is ridiculously low. So Cardano actually does not have much of a value in terms of DeFi. What should be deciding criteria, number of protocols or TVL? Yeah, Yagnadeep, that's a good question. Are you asking this question for the chain or are you asking it for the DeFi project? So could you clarify that one for me? For the chain. So for the chain, when we talk about it, definitely TVL is a good thing. I always look at TVL, and in fact, for me, there is another metric which is very critical. Let me minimize the screen a bit. You remember that MCAP by TVL I was showing you? Yeah. Okay, it's not showing that to me anymore. Yeah, now can you see MCAP by TVL written here? I know it's a little small, but are you guys able to read it? Okay, awesome. So for me, MCAP by TVL is one of the very important ones, because what that shows me is how much the market is valuing that project. That what is the multiple in terms of TVL that we are ready to give for the MCAP. So it is very similar to the P by E ratio of the stock markets. And there we know P by E ratio is a very important indicator of whether the investors are bullish or bearish on something. So P by E ratio in the stock market tells us something very similar. And there we are talking price to earnings. So EPS is the earning per share and price is the price in the market. Similarly here, market cap represents how much the market is valuing your project as a multiple of your TVL, and well, it's 5.9 onwards, 6 and all, that's very high. So that means the market right now is extremely bullish on Ethereum. Whereas if you look at Tron, it's only 1. So the market is very bearish on it, because I'm sure a lot of people have figured out that the TVL of this is just built on 3 internal projects. So the entire market is right now very bearish on it. But here when you go to BSC, then obviously again the market is very, very bullish on it, because it's giving it a valuation of 8.8. According to me, anything above 3 is very good. 3 is neutral, below 3 means undervaluation, above 3 means the market is very bullish. Of course, it also means overvaluation. I hope the part is clear to you guys. Any questions? Okay. If there are questions, just keep typing them. Sri's question is, as an investor, Matic is good choice as per the protocols. Yes. So the way we look at it is, yes, because so many different projects are running on Polygon, it's doing pretty well. But again, what you have to understand is that even though Polygon is being used by a lot of projects, let's go and see what are the revenues like. Okay, so I'm back on token terminal. Okay, I'm going to Polygon. So here we see the P by S ratio is 529, which is huge, right? So that kind of indicates that the market has really overvalued it as of right now. So that's another thing that we've got to bear in mind. That what this means is we have taken the market cap and then we have divided it with the annualized revenue, and it gives us this multiple, which I think is a little too high. So it's got to do a lot because maybe the market hype is there are lots of big projects are on it, but I think it's highly overvalued. You've asked a question about Solana. So let's have a look at Solana. So here, Solana is at number 6 and it's got about, yeah, it's at 9 point something. So here, I put it in the chat box. So it's 9.28, which I think is, yeah, quite overvalued. So that means even though after the whole crypto crash, a lot of the cryptos are still very, very overvalued because see, of course, everything has crashed. So the TVLs have also come down, but then the ratios are going higher. So optimism. Okay, sure. Let me quickly. Yeah, here it is. So that's at number 8. That is got a very low valuation. So I'm putting it in the box here. So it's valued at only 0.32. So it's got about 70 protocols running on it, and it's about 900 odd million, so 905 million, and it's got a 0.3, which means it's extremely undervalued. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's a good option. So what do we need to do? If it is undervalued, we need to figure out, are there other reasons because of which it is undervalued? Has it faced some kind of an attack? Projects are not running on it. There are some kind of glitches which are happening. So we need to figure out why that is happening. So if we go back here, let's hope it's, sorry. Yeah, so when we look at optimism here, now let's go and see the revenues. So again, we can see the P/S ratio is 899 almost. I think it's really, really high. So, I mean, you've got to look at all those statistics and then figure out whether it makes sense to you. So to me, I would say this is a very big red flag that's really, really overvalued as compared to the core metrics. Yagnadeep says Solana is not as decentralized. If people believe in Solana, then it's better to use centralized DBs. Well, Yagnadeep, you do have a valid point here, but what I'd like to say is that decentralization is not a very important thing for most people. We talk a lot about it, but ground reality is it's not so much. I mean, nobody really cares too much about it. Because if you look at almost all the big projects, I would say even Bitcoin is not as decentralized as we think it is. Nor is Ethereum, nor is Binance Chain. None of them are really decentralized to that extent. But yes, the problem with Solana is that obviously there is a very small number of people running nodes, which is why the entire chain crashes. That is not something that has happened to any of the big ones. So when we look at the top chains, Ethereum, Tron, even Tron, in fact, I haven't really seen it go down, or Binance Chain. So compared to that, Solana does go down quite a bit. So yeah, that's a little big of a warning red flag. Then if you look here on the left hand side, there's another very important thing called languages. So a lot of times people ask me which smart contract languages are good or which one should we learn. So again, for that, I'll give you an answer by showing you what is the value locked in different smart contracts. Just give me a second. Okay, so it gives us a total breakdown. So if we look at it, if you can see my screen, can you see Solidity is right on top, and then next comes Viper, then Rust, then Cairo, then that's the order. So this is the order based on TVL, like how much of TVL is locked in which kind of smart contract language. So when we look at that, Solidity is, I mean, it's 76 compared to Viper, which is barely 6-7 billion. So Solidity is many times bigger than the second. And then Rust and Cairo and everything keeps going lower and lower. So I would say Solidity kind of wins. Did that part make sense to you about the smart contract languages? Awesome. Let me just answer some of the questions. Top 2 DeFi. So whoever's asked this question, can you tell me what do you mean by that? I have invested in Matic and AXS. You're talking about Axie Infinity. Okay, I think Axie is pretty bad now. Let's go see how it's faring. We have, no, it's not covered here. So no, we don't, token, one second. Yeah, Axie Infinity is here. So again, I would say Axie Infinity is P by S ratio is huge. It's a little scary. I mean, I would kind of say it's worrisome. But Axie has been through a lot of problems. They've been through a hack, and I mean, a lot of problems are in that project. So I'm not very bullish on it at all. Someone says, don't you think Solana is still in beta? People should cut them some slack. Well, I don't think Solana is in beta. It's available for commercial use. So no, I think people have a right to be angry because Solana doesn't say it's in beta. It says it's live, right? So no, it's not supposed to keep going down like that. Prakash says, since the tech is new, people just take the word that Solana is here to overtake Ethereum. Yeah, so Prakash, you're right. That's actually more like the marketing hype. I think it's a very silly thing to actually compare things against Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum is the big boss, right? It's the oldest guy. So let's not try to presume that anyone is going to overtake him. What we have got to try to understand is what is the use case? Like, is Solana trying to do exactly what Ethereum is doing? Or is it trying to look at different use cases? That is, I think, a more important question. Are blockchains made on Python as well? So actually your question, to answer it, there are two different ways to look at it. Now, what I'm showing you right now on the screen is, I think Python is right at the bottom. So yeah, it's a tiny amount. These are smart contracts written in it. So when you say blockchain written in it, blockchains are usually written in C, C++. But when the blockchain is running, the smart contracts are written in these kind of languages. So I'm not aware of any blockchain fundamentally which is coded in Python, but you can run smart contracts using Python. So Ritesh, I hope that answers your question. Then if you look here on the left, there's an option called categories. So that is something I want you guys to look at. So what they have done is they have now put all the about 27 categories of DeFi protocols. And then next to it, they've shown you how many are there protocol, and then what is the combined TVL of that entire sector, and then a brief description what each means. So in DEXs, we can see there are 546 protocols and 25 billion is the TVL. So like this, we can see which are the use cases which are doing well in DeFi. So obviously DEXs is number one, then comes lending, then we have bridges, then we have CDPs or collateralized debt positions, then we have liquid staking, yield, services, derivatives, and then going downwards. So then some of them you see are really tiny, like NFT lending. So a lot of people say NFT lending has become huge. No, it's not. It's only $98 million, which is like really tiny. Gaming, it's just 12.8. Prediction market, which is, where you do gambling and betting, that's about 10. So I would say again, if you're looking at it, get into categories which are at least $1 billion upwards. So basically cross-chain, algo stables, these ones. The others are still fairly new. They're very, very tiny as in terms of TVL. Yagnadeep says there are 546 DEXs. Does that mean each DEX is different, solving a problem? Okay. So one is, of course, the biggest difference would be which blockchain is the DEX running on, right? So when we look at Curve, which is the largest, you can see the chains. It is running on 9 blockchains. So you can see the top is, of course, Ethereum, and then there are these other chains it runs on. Now, when you look at Uniswap, okay, so Uniswap is also now running on multiple. Then PancakeSwap. PancakeSwap only runs on one, which is the Binance Smart Chain. So I think that's also very important for us to see which are the chains that it runs on. And then, of course, we can see the TVL and the market cap by TVL. So Curve remains number one, but Uniswap is very, very close. So if this is 5.6, that's 5.58. And then, of course, PancakeSwap is much below that in terms of it's only about 3. But that ratio of 3, which I told you, that is not applicable here. That is only applicable to the chains. Next lecture, which is the last lecture of this course, we are going to go deeper into valuation models. Any questions so far? Just give me a second. Any oracles are far below in the list, but it has good use cases. Yes. So just let me go back to oracles here. Can you put the charger? So let's see where oracles are. So yeah, Oracle is here right at the bottom, but I'll tell you the reason with that. Do you notice here in the oracles, uh, if you realize Chainlink is not there. So they've not included Chainlink in this because Chainlink is actually a network of Oracle providers. And if Chainlink is not here, that total doesn't really make any difference to us. So Oracles is showing low here because Chainlink is not there in that list. Okay, whose question was that? Yeah, Ritesh, I hope that answers your question. Gagan, requesting to please share the session start notification an hour earlier, please. Yeah, sure. I've passed that information to Vivan. Okay. What is liquidity in crypto? So Prakash, that's an interesting question. So when we talk about liquidity, there are multiple things that we are talking about. So one is that how much of that crypto is actually available to buy and sell. So if I go to a crypto exchange, am I able to buy the crypto, or is it something so obscure that I'm not able to find enough? So for that, we usually use, let me just go to coin market cap. And there we usually use something called volume, right? So are you guys able to see my screen clearly? So can you see here there's something called volume 24 hours? So usually this is a very good indicator. So here you can see volume. So that basically means that how much of that crypto was traded in the last 24 hours. The more the trading, the more the liquidity or the more the transaction, the volumes are more. So that means there is that much of that crypto being traded. That means if I want to buy or sell at any time, I can actually get it. Because if it is very obscure, like suppose I reverse this order and let's see some of the lowest ones. So, okay, 1 second. Let me see the lowest ones. So when we go to volumes, no, that wasn't a good idea. Just give me 1 sec. Let's first see which are the cryptos with the best volume. So as you can see, Tether is the number one in terms of volume. It is 62 billion and the volume to market cap is 0.9. That means the entire market cap is being traded every day. Do you get what I'm trying to say? 62 billion is the volume and 67 billion is the total market cap. So that is the huge amount of USDT being traded every day. But when we go to the second, which is Bitcoin, the volume to market cap is only 0.11. So look at the difference from 0.9, it has gone down to 0.1. And that is the second largest in the world. After that, it's even lower, like 0.07. So that means that the total market cap of Bitcoin is 427 billion, but daily trading is only 47, which is so much lower in comparison. So this is usually a very strong indicator. And then of course we can see Binance USD, which is the Binance stable coin, is 0.5, which is still pretty good, but it's half of Tether. And Ethereum is like pretty low again. So I hope the part is clear. Ritesh says, does this mean that people don't want to hold USDT and want to hold? So you're not ideally supposed to be holding USDT. It's a stable coin. You're supposed to only keep it for short periods. I mean, you would use it to then quickly buy and sell stuff, but ideally you don't hold USDT for long. I used to hold it for a longer period earlier because I used to get good returns on it in terms of interest. So when I held it on an exchange, they would give me about 14% per annum. But yeah, here it shows us that people are constantly buying and selling USDT. I mean, it is not complete because if you look at it, it is not 1, it's 0.9. So you can see out of this 67 billion, about 62 is traded every day. So you still have a few $1 billion which is being held. But yeah, by and large, it is meant for trading. Prakash asks, what's a liquidity pool? Okay. So a liquidity pool is when you, to answer it, today when you go to a centralized exchange to buy and sell something, right? How is that going to work? Somebody is providing liquidity there. That's why you're able to buy and sell a crypto. But in a DEX, it is individuals like you and me who can go and create liquidity pools. And those are like two-way. You can even have multiple crypto pools, which I think, if I'm not wrong, Compound allows. But basically what you can do is you can create a pool. You say USDT to Ethereum. That's one pair. And then I can create a pool and then people can come and swap between these two. So that's what we call as liquidity pools. Which stable coins to diversify in the short term to prevent Luna types? So Luna was an algorithmic stable coin. It was not a fiat back. So far, to the best of my knowledge, we have not really seen a fiat backed crypto collapsing. But if we look at the stable coins, right? Let me quickly go to categories and let's see some of the top stable coins. Give me a second. Uh, okay. When we look at stable coins, give me a second. Okay. So if you look at the number one, which is USDT, number two USDC, then Binance, then DAI, and then True USD. So ideally, people talk about the first three. So here, if you look at it, I mean, this is 67 billion, 51 billion, 20 billion. They're all fairly well, and their volumes are also pretty strong. Volume market cap is okay. All of these are zero point 0.5 and above. So I would say these are three good coins to hold. But now also another thing I'd like to tell you, Binance has already announced that it is not going to support USDC anymore. And they are going to convert all your balances into Binance USD. So Binance is kind of now forcing everyone to start using their stable coin. I think that's a very big warning sign for us because that means there is just too much riding on Binance now. I mean, not only are their exchanges the biggest, now if they become the biggest stable coin and something goes wrong and Binance fails, that's the end of crypto. So that's a scary thought. Personally, I've always used USDT and USDC. I've personally never done BUSD. Any specific issue with USDC? No, no, it's pure business, right? Binance, logical. Binance would want to hold the money, no? So they're saying you must hold my stablecoin and not other people's. And because they are the biggest exchange, they can do that. Nobody can really stop them, right? Yagnadeep says Bancor allows multiple crypto LP. Awesome. I didn't know about that. I think, to the best of my knowledge, Compound also does it. I wasn't sure about Bancor. Any other questions? Let me just quickly go back to DeFi Llama. So we saw oracles here. And then we can see a lot of other, I mean, you can see all these categories here. And then what I wanted to do is just go into a category, then see all the top cryptos, then go deeper, go to token terminal and start seeing. And I want you guys to start preparing. Let me just stop my sharing. I want you guys to now start preparing reports on how on different tokens, especially for DeFi. So go to token terminal, see the kind of information that is available there, and then now you start preparing reports. Briefly talking about what that token does, what is the use case, then give the main statistics and the metrics, and help other people to make decisions about whether a particular crypto is good or not. So I think you guys have now, I mean, we're at the second last session of our DeFi masterclass. So you guys have enough of the knowledge now. I want you guys to start making reports. And once you make these reports, please put them up on LinkedIn, tag me or comment or whatever on that. I'll also share it. I want you guys to start doing this. So let other people realize that you guys know how to do valuations. So who's going to be preparing some of these reports? Any volunteers? Awesome. Okay, great. So, okay, so amazing. So one good thing that you can do is all of you start with the same crypto, and then let's see how each of you differed. What was your analysis? So I would say best is start with Maker, since that is the number one. So maybe all of you could prepare a short report on Maker. You don't have to make PDFs and all that. You can just directly type it into LinkedIn if you want. Don't worry about the look of it. Right now, I want the data. So what do you think about the use case, about its history? See if you can put some graphs. So, look at the graphs, look at token terminal, try to compare Maker with other competitors. And then you make a statement. What do you feel? Are you bullish or are you bearish? Just remember one thing. Never recommend. Never say that I recommend you should buy this. Never do that because that's not fair. I don't want anyone trusting your word and then buying something and making a loss. You can say whether you are bullish or bearish, and you can give your reasons. But after that, it is people's money. They need to make their own decisions. So don't ever recommend a crypto. You just say whether you're bullish or bearish and give reasons explaining why you feel a particular way. Hope that's clear. Any questions? All clear to everyone? Okay. Any other questions? Yes, no? So anyway, the next time is going to be our last session. And if you have any questions, you can have it next time. And next time we'll go a little deeper into the valuation. I'll show you how my valuation software works, what is the kind of data I put in and how it works. So that we will do in the last lecture. That's going to be on the 19th, again Monday, at the same time. So in case some of you didn't get the notification, just put an alarm on your phone. That would be the last session. Are CBDC supported by blockchains? Ritesh, that's a good question. Not yet, because I'm not really aware of any CBDC which has gone production except China. And as you know, China is very anti-crypto. Other than that, I'm not aware of any other country which has actually gone live with CBDC. So no, as of right now, they're not. They're not on any of the blockchains. Today, no learn token is getting credited in this session. Of course, it would be. Vivan, could you just clarify Abhishek's question that no learn token is getting credited? If you could just answer. Yagnadeep, when is Future Money Wallet available to users not able to? Yagnadeep, you're going to be interning under me. So part of your work is going to be to build something for Future Money Wallet. So it is going to start getting available for people to use within the next few days. So I'm opening it up to different master classes. So I'm going to be running a masterclass called Token Economics Masterclass, for which the fee has to be paid in learn tokens only. So yeah, okay, Vivan's answered that he's making some slight change, hence it's not reflecting, but don't worry, you'll be collecting it. So for attending my Token Economics Masterclass, you need 500 learn. So please check your balances. If your balance is 500 learn, then you can attend it. In the meanwhile, if it is not, then attend other people's lectures, attend my lectures, but you have to reach 500 learn tokens. So now onwards, I'm not going to do any free programs anymore. You have to pay, in some cases in fiat, in some cases in terms of learn token. I have 300 and 200 in MetaMask. Yeah, okay, don't worry about it, Yagnadeep. In your case, I'll figure out how to transfer it there. But if you have it in MetaMask, I would say keep it there. Yeah. Gautam says how to check my learn token balance. So Vivan, could you just tell them what is the link for it, or maybe a screenshot? And let's plan out a session on learn token this week. I'll let you know what time, but we'll definitely do a session because now learn token is going to go big. Lots and lots of new exciting things happening on learn token. So within the next few days, I want to do a session and talk to you about learn token and what the future plans are. Preeti says there's a button on top, learn and earn. You can check your balance from there. Okay, Preeti, thanks a lot for that. So whoever wanted to check, you can just click on that learn and earn token on the, yeah, there's a button on top, learn and earn. On the website, there is learn and earn button. Yeah, okay. Palash wants to know how to intern with me. So as of right now, we are looking for tech interns. So if you have experience with JavaScript and a little bit of blockchain related stuff, the test is very simple. Send me a web page in which it supports checking how many learn tokens somebody has, and then based on that, it shows you if or else. So if you have above 100 learn tokens, it gives you one answer, below gives you another. If you make that page and send it to me, that's the internship interview. It's very simple. That's the only question I ask. So Prakash also says, yeah, so right now this is for a tech internship, but very soon I'm going to be taking for financial internship, so to say. So depending on what you guys are good with, you can do that. Just to clarify, I paid 10,000 bucks only per month for the internship. So I hope that's okay with you guys. It's a standard thing. It doesn't matter who the person is. Internship stipend is 10,000 per month, rupees, not dollars. Huh? Any other questions? Anything else you guys would like to say? Are these internships recurring? Yes, they are. So I regularly at any given point of time have at least 2 or 3 interns. I'm interested in the finance one, sure. I'll definitely keep you posted. And this Friday, I'm doing a session on non-tech careers in blockchain. So do attend that also. You can just RSVP and sign up for that. So now I'm going to look forward to you guys making your reports on MakerDAO and posting it on LinkedIn. Please try to do it in the next 2-3 days. It'll be fun to see that. And don't forget to tag me in it. Okay, all clear? So if there are no other questions, I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye-bye.